I'm Wendy James from Transvision Vamp. As you can see, we're recording a video for our new song, and I'm going to be on Expo next week talking all about the new song, the new tour, the new album, and the plans for 1991. So please join me. Bye.
Wendy James, pretty in pink, vamps it up for the cameras with the Transvision boys next week.
Wendy told us about her new single, which will be released on Monday, and in particular about the reaction of a few young friends of hers when they heard its title.
It's called I Just Want to Be With You, which shocked me because these kids, I walked out of the house the other day and there was a few 10-year-olds outside and went, "Oh, you're Wendy James, aren't you? When's your new single coming out?" And I went, "Oh, it's thinking, you know, hey, buy the record, buy the record." I said, "Oh, it's going to be out in 2 weeks' time." And they went, "What's it called?" And I went, "Oh, it's called I Just Want to Be With You." And they went, "Oh, sissy." But it isn't a sissy record. The biggest musical person, the biggest musical influence we've had over the last year, irrespective of all the contemporary bands, has been an old blues guy from New Orleans called Dr. John, who's incredibly famous down from New Orleans and dealing with voodoo and so on and so forth, and mambling on in French voodoo speak, and good old harmonicas, which you heard in the background then. And so that's what the music echoes, I think, far more than Manchester dance or any stupid little thing like that.
Wendy is currently completing the video to the band's new single. And watch Expo next week for an exclusive look at the shoot in progress.
She would win an Academy Award at some time in her career, and a British tabloid took her up on it. Why is she so confident?
I just know, I've just got a feeling about the route my life will take. It's not as though I'm out there trying to get parts or anything as seedy as that. I just think one day a break will come along and I'll be brilliant at it and I'll win an Oscar. And I hope I do, because it's nice to have ambitions. It's far more interesting than Wendy James says one day she wants to own her own Hoover. You know, it's far more, yeah, of course I'd like a shot at an Oscar. Why not?
For the last 18 months, but relax mode is about to become go mode with the start of a world tour next month, the new album and a single out this week. We took part in a whole load of vamping for the cameras on the set of their new video. The singles may have been Vamp's calling card, but the albums have impressed as well. 1989's Velveteen was #1 on the album chart, and this year's The Bubble of Babel, said to cover the topic of superficiality versus reality, will be on the shop shelves in June.
The original plan at the beginning of 1990 was to just carry on the routine, which had gone through Pop Art to Velveteen. We did both of those albums within 9 months of each other. Toured consistently throughout 2.5 years. And we had planned that we'd originally just go straight back into the studio and boom, come out with a third album. And coupled with the fact that we were rather tired after all of that heavy work schedule, we also thought maybe it's better for us if we have a little break. Our work will improve if we can just take a step backwards and look at it and do it in a relaxed way, and also probably better for the fans, because you can't keep releasing a single every 7 weeks for the rest of your life, and we had a new single out every 7 weeks. So it was just a mixture of things that pointed the way that we should maybe take a little step backwards and get a bit of quality control about our lives for a short while before the merry-go-round started up again. We started recording the album at the beginning of 1990 for a couple of months, and that's when we decided, no, let's stop now and have a break. And when that break started, I went off to France and lay by a swimming pool for, for a while. And Nick and I both had a studio built at Nick's house. Not a big flash pop star studio, just a little pre-production suite. And Nick had his garden done, and I bought some furniture, and we just took it easy around West London where we live, went to the pub and went on bicycle rides, took in some oxygen for a few months, and then in September we resumed the album. As you would expect, we've had a little time to we look at the music, and I think that we have made, that it has got better, that it's moved up in quality, because you'd expect of any band, the longer they're around, the better their material becomes as time goes on.
Out on Monday, the first single from the yet-to-be-released Bubble of Babel is I Just Want to Be With You.
I think probably it's a lot harder than it has been in the past, although we've thought that each time that we've released a new album. The biggest musical influence we've had over the last year, irrespective of all the contemporary bands, has been an old blues guy from New Orleans called Dr. John, who's incredibly famous down from New Orleans and dealing with voodoo and so on and so forth, and mambling on in French voodoo speak. It's definitely got an overall voodoo feel to it, and I think, although it's got a punchy old chorus in there, it's a lot heavier than our other tracks. Confidence in myself as a lead singer and in the band as musicians and Nick as a songwriter that we could go away for 10 years, and if you come back with something good, then it's as though you never went away. You know, that's far better that you go away for a long time and come back with something good rather than just keep churning out average material. Our popularity on the live circuit is because I do think that we put on an exciting show, and it is a rock and roll show as opposed to a rock show, which is completely indulgent and boring, or showbiz show where there's 100 backing singers, 200 dancers and a firework display and a whole load of lasers going everywhere. We just, you know, we grew up with punk rock and the Clash, in my opinion, were the best live band ever.
The idea for the video was in Wendy's control from the start. She was responsible for the initial storyboard, but chose Australian director Claudia Castle to call the shots. Recognised for her work with Midnight Oil and In Excess, she brought a seasoned eye to the Transvision Vamp set.
When I said to her, "Do you feel for Vivian Lee in Streetcar Named Desire?" and she said, "Oh, yeah," then I knew that we'd be okay. She'd done a video for In Excess, which I thought was very well filmed. But it just seemed right because Claudia directs, and her sister is the cameraman, and her mother is a producer, and it's a really nice little female organisation, and I thought it would be interesting to see how we reacted to a woman directing, as opposed to a guy just going, "Yeah, give it some, baby." It might be nicer to try it out with a lady. It's working so far today. Still a live-ish video, in as much that we're playing our instruments, but I just think a little more care has been taken over this one. It wasn't just a case of put you up against a white backdrop and play your music and get a bit sweaty and that's it, folks. There's a little more to it this time. There are a couple of scenes that it's a 2-day shoot, and there are a couple of scenes that I'll be doing away from the band, which should be interesting. But it's just a picture I saw in a magazine of a model with a hose pipe. I thought I'd try and bring that picture to life. But unfortunately, I just found out that the only water running in this building is freezing cold. So I'm going to have to do all the water scenes in icy cold conditions. But hey, no pain, no gain.
One thing the band have had to contend with over the years is criticism of Wendy's overtly sexual style. An attention grabber for sure, the provocative front person still raises questions over the seriousness of the Vamp's musical intentions.
It's my life. It is all that's in my life at the moment, and it has been all that's been in my life for a few years now. And it's very serious. And yes, our songs do deserve to be taken seriously because there's a lot of hard work that goes into them, and I believe that they're very good. Of course, I can't make people take them seriously, but I think we behave in a serious enough way. We certainly aren't dancing about doing cheesecake smiles everywhere and jumping with balloons on the cover of Smash Hits. I'm not interested in that kind of thing. Because the way we were treated in the early days, which was, what's this, oh, it's okay, maybe they'll be around for a couple of singles. You know, 3 albums later and 10 singles later, and we're coming back with something that's bigger and better than ever. And that's why, ultimately, you do get taken seriously, because you don't disappear, because you stick in there and you get better.
An MTV exclusive, because you sure ain't going to see that again. Why? Well, you know what they say about ending up on the cutting room floor. You can see the final cut of I Just Want to Be With You at the end of the show, a cut that used none of the footage shot on that first day.